Hi, my name is Lee Honish. I am the former head loss mitigator for IndyMac Bank's HELOC division and the foremost leading authority on the subject of distressed and defaulted properties. For over 30 years, I've worked in the banking and real estate industry. If this is your first time watching me, please visit our site, homeadvocates.io, or you can check out our coaching and information page at homeadvocates.academy. So, with all of that said, welcome. Click the like, click the subscribe, listen to our podcast, do all of that stuff. There's a link down below if you want to watch a webinar, learn how you can get involved in our mission to help 1 million homeowners and to work with 1,000 real estate agents and investors. All right, all that out of the way, let's talk about today's call. We are at the beginning or at the start of a first wave of defaults, and the numbers are starting to expose themselves. Up to this point, many people have been deniers, more or less. And I understand why. It's a very difficult thing to fully digest what is currently going on. I'm going to show you a couple of reports. I'm going to tie it all together, and I'm going to let you make the decision. Much like a webinar or anything else I do, you need to make the decision for yourself. All I'm suggesting for you as a real estate agent or as an investor, there's an opportunity to help people. There's an opportunity to get listings or deals, and that's it. Let's keep it simple. I don't care whether or not you think there's a market crash or a correction or nothing at all. I'm just showing you the number of people that are coming online and how big that wave is. And I can safely tell you this, once the wave is here, everybody in your industry will want to get on board. So it's better to get on board early, especially while my CEO is doing crazy pricing with our program. So let's talk about the two reports that are out there. So this came out yesterday. What we're looking for is what is the provable or actual rate of number of people that are actively in default, right? As a former banker executive, I've been in the industry forever, right? I started at the age of 18 doing foreclosures. By the age of 21, I had already thrown out my first 100 families. And if you're wondering if that has deep lasting psychological scars, let me confirm it for you. So I've been through multiple cycles where distressed properties come online, and at the beginning of it, everybody denies it because nobody wants to work in it. I totally get it. Let's talk about what Diana Olnick wrote up just yesterday, right? Foreclosures starts jumped to 32%. Well, we know this because we track them in our own coaching group. We knew that it was somewhere between 20 and 25% a couple of months ago, and now they're talking about 32%. So it's the speed for which they're trying to get everything online. Never get distracted by year-over numbers because we were in a pandemic. The number that I'm interested in, not the number where they've been filed, and you can certainly go on CNBC and read this full report. What I'm interested most in is this number. I'll keep saying it. I'll keep saying it on live videos and everywhere I can. When somebody has a forbearance, they're in default. They were going to forgive it up until the end of September, right? And now we're past that. So with the FICO system coming back online and credit reporting coming back online, it is monumental for all of you to understand that there are literally millions of people who are going to have forbearances put onto their credit with the amount that they owe the bank. It is a default. If you're watching this and you're a homeowner and you took out a forbearance and nobody told you, a forbearance is a default. And they just constantly keep going over this. Well, they have equity and therefore they won't, be distressed or defaulted. Like they will magically come to their senses and want to sell their house and take advantage of that equity. They won't. They can't. There isn't really good education out there, right? Not to toot the horn of home advocates and what we do here. Feel free to Google it. We are a distressed property solution that educate real estate professionals, investors, to go and help homeowners, right? And ultimately, their best decision is to sell their property. So what we're looking at here is, what does 1.4 really mean up against the grand scheme of things? And I totally get that, right? So they're saying it represents 2.6% of all active mortgages. Not to quote 2006 and 7, for those of you that watched The Big Short or read the book. Let's go back to what they said. What would they consider catastrophic in defaults, right? Somewhere between 2 and 3%. Well, actually, the default rate all the way up till 2008 got up to, 5% in mid 2005 and rose to over 28%. So what am I saying, right? We're at the beginning. We're just talking about the percentage of people that are severely delinquent that they're able to track. The banks know for sure how many people have missed payments and and you can definitely see that because there's no reports coming out of the bank. As a former banker, bank exec, asset manager, the fact that the banks are so silent on this topic is probably the loudest news. So we are at the beginning, right? 2.6 is a guaranteed number, 1.4 million people. And do I have anything to back that up from any other charts, right? This just came from Realty Track and it was compiled by Diana Olnick. Well, I use Realty Track myself, as well as Property Radar, as well as information for title companies and even credit companies. And I have to see where the direction of the market is going because it's monumentally important for the people that I coach, right, to get listings and deals. And I'm telling you, there is a wave of defaults, and to some degree, they're actually kind of correct. These people appear on the surface over the last couple of months to be more inclined to sell and go after their equity. But I want to back up this report that Realty Track put out and tie it into a Mortgage Daily report that they did a couple days beforehand. There was a report put out by CoreLogic, and they went with year-over numbers, right? Look at what's in foreclosure right now, only 0.3. It's down from last year, 0.2, right? They talk about this foreclosure rate being at a 22.5-year low. Okay, last year we were in a pandemic. This year we're coming out of a pandemic, so there's nobody in foreclosure. In fact, we turned off the whole FICO system. Nobody's getting cars repoed. Nobody's paying their student debt. Nobody's paying their credit debt. In fact, I believe it's GM that's now going to offer a no FICO 7-year car loan to people, right? This is a problem by turning off the FICO system, but that's not the point of this. What we're looking at here, right, July and July numbers, right? So they're doing year over year from a year ago. Look closely at 120 days that mirror the number of people that are defaulted, right? So they're saying 2.6 here. They're saying 2.4 here. And we go back to the historical numbers. It started at 2 or 3%, which was the beginning of the wave, and escalated up to 28%. Am I saying that that's how big this is going to be? No. I knew that there were about 300,000 or 400,000 people that were actively in foreclosure before COVID when they turned off FICO. There are 1.4 to 1.6 million people with forbearances who are actively delinquent, and certainly more than 120 days delinquent, 2.4%. They don't talk about this 2.4% number at all anywhere in the report. That's approximately 1.5 million people right now, guaranteed 1.5 million that are delinquent on their loan. And that ties directly to forbearance agreements. Now let's tack on the other 300 or 400 that were severely delinquent before COVID happened, right? We can round up for the sake of discussion here. We're at about 2 million people. So now we're at a solid 3% default rate. And if you look state by state numbers on a couple of the Black Knight reports, it varies from market to market, place to place. But again, the banks who have not said a word, the last time they made a comment, which was during the summer, they talked about a 90% performing portfolio on defaulted loans, right? That means that 10% is in default, right? There are various stages. 31 days at 5 p.m., you're 30 days late, 61 is 60, 91 at 5 p.m. is 90 days late, right? That's early collection. Those are robocalls. Those are, all the spammy stuff. What's really the number that I, as an asset manager or retained asset manager or bank executive staring at a spreadsheet, is the correlation to 120 plus days, the correlation to realty. You look for the commonality in all of it, right? It's my job to see the trend for my coaching students and for the marketing that we do these days. When I worked at a bank, it was to project value and understand the direction of the market. And that's what we're ultimately talking about here right now. This is the beginning of the wave. It's rolling from the east to the west. Before the end of the year, we will be into hundreds of thousands of people that will be in default and noted. Take advantage. Right now, click the link below and go watch a webinar by me. And click the like button, click subscribe if you're watching YouTube. If you're listening to our podcast, sign up. I appreciate all of you, and I want to hear your comments and see your feedback. Go ahead and type them in down below or send me an email at advocate@homeadvocates.io if you have questions in general. Call us 833-969-4673. Google us, Home Advocates. We're easy to find. I'm glad I could give you this information, and if you're in the real estate profession, here's a little PS. 150,000 new people signed up to be real estate agents, and that could be a little stressful when looking for a listing. I'm giving you an alternative where you can help people, right, and also help your own family.